Thank you.
All right, so moving right along. Okay, so this is probably what your box looks like. This specific image has been, they've been inventoried. So I think it's a really good idea. It might be something more on the admin side or the IT director's side to actually inventory all the different components of the SWIVL package, just to make sure things are kept together, because there's a lot of little things that do come in this package.
Hey, you guys, just make sure all the little parts stay in the little box, okay?
Yes,
Because we haven't done inventory, so.
Little parts.
Little parts.
I'm
Little
also,
parts.
I'm a freak about that.
I know, I am too.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, and especially if they're shared, it seems like you're all using independent right now, but it might become a situation where you're sharing the robots in the future. It's just a good idea, you know. And Beth, I can always follow up with you on how you might want to go about inventorying, and there are like existing documents and stuff out there. So
Okay. Thank you.
no problem. All right, so what do we have here in our SWIVL base set, C-Series base set? And you guys got C-Series 3, right? C3 or
I
5?
think so.
5.
Is it 5?
Yeah, because we have
So
5.
do you have 4 markers or 2 markers?
4.
4. Okay, so you've got the C5. Perfect. So what you see on, I'm sorry?
Yes.
Allison, real quick, what is the point of having all the different markers?
Great question. So secondary markers can be used for secondary audio sources. So if you want to capture student audio, you can do that. You can set secondary markers around the classroom. Probably not something you're going to be worrying about for right now, but when you get into hybrid learning, it would be a good idea to keep those markers in different parts of the classroom. If students are doing group work, that's a really good opportunity to gather audio from different groups in the classroom. And you can actually track on the app the different audio analytics. So how much teacher time, how much student talk time.
Does
So-
the camera, the SWIVL robot track those other markers as well?
Only the main
Yes.
one.
Yes. So you can connect with the C5, you can connect all 4 secondary markers.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah,
then you,
and then it will track which audio markers are picking up the audio on the recording.
All right. So it goes to the speaker.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Just like our,
I thought they were just mics. That's good to know.
cool.
No. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so just to name all the different parts, in your robot, of course, you have your primary marker. It comes in the actual robot, and that's its docking station, essentially. So you need to make sure that all those little metal pins in the marker are aligned with the metal pins in the docking station. This is how the marker is going to charge. This is also how we can connect secondary markers. You can put it into that docking station as well. What you see in the middle is called a grip. And within the grip, you have shims. And the shims are removable and replaceable. And the purpose of the shim, and that's these little things on the inside that you see over here, they are specific to the size of mobile device. So if you have a different thickness of mobile device, or you put your mobile device in and you find it doesn't feel very tight, you don't want to be forcing it around, you probably need to replace the shim. To do that, to get that grip out, you have to push it all the way to the left, and then you can pop the shim out. And to put it back in, you need to push it all the way to the right. And make sure when you push it back in that it's actually clicked and connected. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yep. You already changed.
Okay, cool. And the other thing that I want to point out on the robot is in the front, that's where our infrared signal is coming from. So if you're having any issues with the marker disconnecting, keep in mind that's where the signal is coming from. That's what's connecting and tracking your marker. So if there are any barriers to that connection, to that signal, it's going to lose connection, right? Okay, so if we turn it around, we see all our ports for connection. We also see some of our LED signals, which I'll talk a little bit more about what we're gonna find with those LED lights. But essentially, these are our ports for connection. The main one in the middle is our mobile device connector port, but we also have our micro USB expansion port. You have your power cable, and then the LED lights, which I'll talk more about. So then we get into the markers. And so you guys have your 4 markers, your 4 secondary markers. You should also have 1 neck lanyard, and probably came with 4 wrist lanyards. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your neck lanyard you want to put into the marker clip, and you're going to wear it on your neck with the microphone up. It's really important that you don't have, like, you know, some teachers carry lanyards with other things on them, name tags, or, you know, other things that teachers carry around their necks. Don't get anything mixed up with the lanyard. It really needs to have a clear connection, or it's going to get like audio static, and the audio quality is not going to be as good. So another thing I've seen with secondary markers, if you are using them and you want them to be placed at certain places, specifically in your classroom, like you're going to set up an audio configuration in your classroom, and you know, maybe you have 4 groups that generally you want to capture audio from, you could put Velcro, like a little piece of Velcro on the back of the secondary markers, and Velcro on the desk, and do it like that. So they have specific like homes that you want to keep them in for kind of optimal audio configuration. Just a thought, not necessary, but you know, if you have young kids who are doing this with the secondary markers, you might want to think about sort of getting them stuck down on something. Okay, so just again, getting into some of the different components, and especially, like, I don't need to get into this too much. We've already talked about the shims, but what I did want to show you, it should come with a 4-port USB block. This is where you can charge everything. So you should be able to plug that into the wall and plug your, anything with the USB charger will go into that 4-port block.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
You should also have a base charging cable. So this is where it kind of becomes important to know what all those little cables are. Actually, I'll start at the top with the micro USB lightning cable. That's what you're all using to connect the robot to your actual mobile device. It's probably white on yours. Is it? Yes. Okay. So you don't need to pay too much attention to the Android. I don't think anyone's using Android. You're all using iOS, right?
Yep.
So you do need the base charging cable. That's an important one. And it just looks like a USB with a little, I don't know what that's called, charging prong.
Yeah.
And then you should have one that has these like 2 sides, 2 prongs, and that's just for your marker charging. So you can plug 2 in at a time. With your C5, you should have 2 of these marker charging cables.
So Allison, this 4-prong this 4 USB charger, it says it's C1 only. Did we get one with a C5, you guys?
I don't
Yeah,
have one.
You got one?
I got one.
What?
What does it look like? Oh, that you're circling down there?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one circling here.
Yeah, it's a block that you plug in.
Yeah. Okay. Just
So you did or did not?
This thing.
We did.
Yeah, Brittany got one.
Brittany's
Does
got
it have 4? Does it have 4?
Yeah,
1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4.
Okay, never mind. Thank you.
You know.
No, no problem. Good question.
I'm such an idiot. Thank you. Never mind.
It's already in use.
I've already used it.
Purpose.
No problem, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna look more at all the LED lights and what their purposes are. But I did want to point out on the top of the robot, you have two buttons. One is your power button and one is your pairing button. So the plus button on the top of the robot is for pairing the marker or a marker. And we're going to get much deeper into all the marker functions and buttons and everything there too. Okay, so is that Brittany playing with the, is it Brittany?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay, perfect. So you're gonna be our Vanna for right now. So my question for you to hold up, can you find the base charging cable? So the cable that you would plug into the base and plug into your charging block.
Is that it? No,
It's gonna be
it's small.
small with the one prong.
Not sure. I was kind of figuring, I don't know. This?
Not this one.
Yeah, it's just a really great bulb on
It has a USB and a little.
it.
Found it.
Good, you got it. Okay, perfect. And the next one is your 4-port USB charging block. Do you have that?
That's the one you just talked about.
Yep, got it. Do you have one or two of those in the C5?
Just one in my pack, yeah.
Just one? Okay. And your secondary marker charging cable. So this is the one that should have 2 prongs coming out.
Yeah.
There you go. Good. Okay, perfect. All right, so I think you're set up, all ready to start charging and start connecting to your mobile device. So as Beth was saying, and I think everyone's done it, it's pretty easy, straightforward connection. You're gonna use your lightning cable and connect to your robot, and you have the app on your mobile device, and just launch the app.
It goes into the side of your.
No, I think you had it ready. It's right there.
It's very bad.
Upside down.
There you go.
I actually don't have the app on my,
That's okay.
You don't?
because I might need to get some sort of privacy setting fixed because I can't download apps.
Jean should have.
Jean should
that.
have fixed it.
Yeah, or you should, yeah, we can talk.
Okay,
I'm sure he can. That's-
sorry.
I had the same problem.
Are you allowed to give us access to apps or just Jean? You don't have access.
Basically, you have to use your own personal.
Oh, my
ID.
Apple ID.
Yeah, or create a new one.
No, Jean will do it.
But, so it's a free app?
Yeah, it's free. Yeah, you just go on the app store, go on the.
But I can't go on the app store.
Because it's connected to our server.
Yeah.
Jean's in charge of it.
So Jean should have
Send an email to
uploaded it.
Jean
She
saying he's
uploaded
got
it.
Okay.
to unlock your.
I will.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll get that.
okay. Sorry, Allison.
No, no problem at all. These are all really good questions for you guys to figure out for sure. So
Oh,
Does that make sense?
yeah. Here, so you have to pull it up higher. There you go. Oh, thank you.
What's this one?
This one here.
The short one.
That's Android.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
The other OS. By the mic.
And there's this, I'm not sure if that's. There. Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
no problem. So, okay, so for connecting markers and to pair your secondary markers, has anybody paired more than one marker?
No.
No, no.
Okay, well, why don't you tell me how you paired one marker? Like, how did you pair your primary marker?
Just did it automatic.
Turned it on
It
and.
already paired.
I think we pushed the plus button, didn't we though?
I didn't. I didn't.
I think we did
Turn the
the
marker
very
on
first
and-
one.
Yeah, turn the marker on, turn the plus sign on, and it's paired by itself.
I think.
Yeah. It's pretty straightforward.
I pushed a lot of buttons and then it started working.
That's effective too.
I mean, really, that's kind of how,
It's not, yeah, I mean, it's intuitive, so.
I don't remember.
So to pair the secondary markers should be the same. You should just turn them all on. And then when you actually get into the app, when you turn on the SWIVL app on the device, you can actually check the connection status, which is going to become very important as we get into some of the troubleshooting with the markers and especially if it's not connecting audio. So you should just be able to turn them on and connect them. You can also put them in the dock. I believe that's a way to connect them as well. But like I said, I don't have the robot to test it, but it says that works. So I'm trusting. Aha, see right there, it says it. So to pair a new secondary marker, simply turn it on and dock it in the base. There you go.
It's very similar to Bluetooth pairing, right? You just turn it
Yeah.
on and it should
Yeah.
recognize it.
So one of the things that SWIVL really recommends you do if you're using multiple secondary markers is use those color stickers that should have come with your package to really indicate which marker is which to differentiate them. Did you get those little color stickers?
I think so.
There they
No,
are. There you go.
They do come here.
Yeah, they're already,
Yeah, they're on it.
yeah, they're already on it,
Exactly.
but they have extras.
Okay, perfect. All right, so moving right around. Okay, so now let's talk about the LED light status. And again, this becomes very important for troubleshooting purposes. So we're going to start with the left LED light. So this status LED light, of course, has to do with pairing because it's on the side of pairing with the pair button, right? So solid red, no markers connected. So nothing's connected. If you're seeing solid red, you need to go back and make sure your markers are turned on and that they are in fact connected. If you see flashing red, it means that the marker is pairing. So it's in the process of pairing. If you see solid green, you're good to go. The marker is connected. Yeah. And so the little point on the slide is that if you see green, it's only indicating for one marker. You need to check in the app when you open the app what the connection status is. You'll actually see if you want to use your secondary markers, you'll see how many are connected, how many are turned on. So that's, again, when it becomes important to know where you're checking your status. So on the other side, on the right side of your robot, this status light has to do with system status. So solid red means no mobile device is detected. Solid green, the mobile device is detected, and flashing red is the battery is low.
Oh, come on.
Any questions on that?
No.
Okay, perfect. So for the markers and for, okay, well, let's do the back of the robot. There's a lot of LED lights. There's a lot of little status lights that you need to know what they mean because they could be flashing red or green at different times. So it's important to know. The marker LED charge status on the back of the bot means that the marker is charging, but it's less than 40%. If it's flashing green, it's still charging, but it's over 40%. And if it's solid green, it means the marker is fully charged. Remember, this is if you're charging it in the docking station of the bot. And then the base charge status, same thing. So same, if it's red, it's lower than 40%. Flashing green, higher than 40%. Solid green, the base is fully charged. Quick question, and maybe Beth, you've been working with this for a while. What's the battery life on the SWIVL robot?
Actually, it's not too bad. I've only had to charge it once. I let it die completely. I forgot I left it on, and then it's been on. I charged it Monday, and I haven't had to recharge it since. So at least 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
So, and then are you seeing that flashing green if the battery is starting to get low?
I've actually
Maybe
never
you
noticed.
hadn't noticed.
I only noticed red when I noticed it was going dead.
There you go. So it's a
but-
good indicator when it starts
Yeah.
flashing green that you need to charge it, leave it on overnight.
Not even on.
It's not even on right now.
Does it have to be plugged in to register that?
So we don't have a color at all. We don't have a flashing thing at all right now. What does that mean?
It might have to be plugged in to show.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Mine was flashing green, so it must have been, did you say that was less or
40%.
40% or more?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yours is not plugged in right now and it is showing that LED status.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, mine's not showing anything.
Did?
So maybe it's right when it turns
But not like
on.
a wall, is that what you mean?
Maybe, yeah, maybe
Right
it's
now,
not
it's not doing anything.
Yeah, so maybe it's just right when it turns on, it shows you and then,
Yeah,
What about
maybe.
the base?
The base, I have no light. I have the marker going right now
The
okay.
base is sucking off the energy
from the wall.
charger chain. Base.
Okay, so then the marker LED lights, the top one, if it's green, and the bottom, I feel kind of silly reading this to you. I mean, you can read it too, but if the top is green and the bottom is flashing red, the marker is looking for the base.
I got
If the
it flashing red. Oh no. Sorry.
If the top is green and the bottom's green, it tells you that this is the primary marker. If the top is green and the bottom is solid red, you're in session recording and it's the primary marker.
Okay.
If the top is green and the bottom has no light, it's a secondary marker. And if both are flashing red, it's gonna blow up. No, I'm just kidding. It just means the battery is low.
Allison, are you gonna share this PowerPoint with us so we have it
Yeah.
for a guide? Bless your heart.
Okay,
I
thank you.
can share it and I'm recording this session, but I can share the PowerPoint reads like a guide. So it's very, it's a good resource. Okay, so now talking about the marker functions. And this is where I got really excited about the C-series robots versus the old Gen 2 markers, because you can do a lot more with the actual marker functions. So of course, the top button, you have your power. The button just below power, this is to turn on or off recording. So it's gonna come in handy. You also will notice that you have an audio jack. This is used for your charging port, but depending on your configuration, you can actually plug in a set of headphones to your primary marker if you wanted to have an A and B conversation through Zoom. That's one of the kind of audio configurations that you can do with your primary marker. So that's why it's an audio jack as well. So the up, down, side to side, these are functions that you can actually change the settings slightly, but by default, the center is to pause and resume tracking. So sometimes when you're up at your robot or up at your device and you're actually doing some settings on your iOS device, trying to get things kind of set up, you might want to actually pause tracking because it's really hard to have the robot moving around while you're trying to, get your configurations the way you want them. So you can use that center button to pause and start tracking again. Left and right, we can use to actually navigate slides. And up and down, we can use for bookmarking. You can also use left and right, up and down for if you press and hold it, you can manually move the robot. So if the robot is not tracking where you want it to be, or it seems to be a little bit off, you can actually move it using your left or right, up and down by pressing and holding. There it goes.
That's cool.
This student is, and then you can, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of helpful if you want to just show different things at different times, but I'll also show you how you can change those settings. And then of course the microphone, again, very important, biggest like troubleshooting thing here. Make sure it's unobstructed, hanging on your lanyard. Okay, so let's get into the actual classroom setup. And like Beth said, I think you're pretty well set up. I just want to make sure you understand the hows and the whys of these kinds of connections. So your SWIVL app should already be connected and integrated with your Zoom app. So my understanding is on your iOS device, you have the SWIVL app and the Zoom app already running, right? And everything is already integrated for most people.
Yes, except Brittany, you're still working through it, but everybody else has it, right?
I don't know how to do that yet.
You just need to install Zoom.
Do you have Zoom on?
I have Zoom, yeah, but I don't know how to connect them.
Do you have Swivel?
When you
Yeah.
go into SWIVL,
Just
and
go
it's,
into
you do,
Yeah.
you'll get,
It'll give you a Zoom button within Swivel. If you open it up, it says start a Zoom.
I haven't seen that yet. Oh,
Always update first. Your marker is edge. It'll do some fun stuff.
then it'll be like here.
Over here, live stream, right?
Is it live stream?
Yep. And you get the option of a Zoom or
So right now it's connecting to
so
SWIVL.
two options.
Yesterday it froze. Yeah, I think I had some updates to do. She can continue.
Okay, I'll keep going and you can keep working on getting that integrated. That's a good idea. So I'm not gonna play the videos that I've embedded because I'm gonna give you guys this whole slide deck so you can come back, and they're just very short videos to make sure you know what a successful connection looks like and how you can check. So with the actual SWIVL, you want to think about where you're setting it up in your classroom. And it's kind of counterintuitive, but it's really about you. The focus is on you as the teacher. I always find it kind of weird. I don't want it always to be the focus on me, but you have to think about the robot in proximity to you. And you're not tethered. You should be able to move around, but in terms of setting it up, you want it to be pretty well chest height. So your iOS device, your mobile device, is going to be looking at you sort of face on when you're moving around. Also, and when it's recording you. Also, you want to think about the connection between the infrared signal on the robot and your primary marker that you're going to be wearing. So I guess the most even plane is going to reduce any of that disconnection. So I would say, Brittany, you're gonna wanna pull that microphone way up. So you should be able to adjust your lanyard. So your mic is sitting right about, like just below your neck. You want it pretty tight on your neck. So it's picking up your audio very well.
Okay. I'll fix it.
I think the cinch is behind.
Oh, like this?
Allison, could you remind me the solid red on the near the power button? What does that mean again?
On the robot,
Yes.
let's go back. So near the power button. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be that it's not detecting, oh no, that it's low battery. Or no, it's not detecting a mobile device, solid red.
Solid red.
Okay.
It's trying to pair.
So put it in the dock if it's not pairing.
Here.
think I need to charge it.
So you can see here, she's got it pretty high up, but it's really in line with her kind of eye level, chest level. The markers, the distance that you can actually go from the robot, ideally is 5 to 20 feet. So you do have a lot of room to move around. That's the whole point of it. It's not meant to be tethering. You're not meant to be stuck in one spot. It's going to follow you around. But ideally, you're in that zone of 5 to 20 feet. Any questions? Everyone's left their seats, so I don't know.
No, I'm practicing. They're all
We are here.
Yeah.
You're doing it. You're doing it. You're trying to get the marker paired. Is there anything I can help?
Yeah, so now I have a flashing red light next to the power button. What is that?
So that means low battery, I think.
That's what I thought.
No,
No, it's good. Now it's good. Oh my God.
it's flashing red on the marker.
No. On the swivel, on the
Oh,
robot.
so, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Did you just knock it over? Oh no.
I think
I just dropped my iPad.
Isn't
Yeah,
it
don't-
true
let's
that
just
you
put that
guys
there for
switched
now.
the,
Want an update?
I used the one that was out of the box.
I did too.
you did switch
I
it?
shimmied it in.
Yeah, I kind of shoved
So
it
this
in.
is the right size.
I can tell you the SWIVL app is updating really consistently, really frequently right now. So even what I've included in here, I've seen new updates up to like 2 weeks ago and big updates. So
Yeah,
Okay.
so Doc, track one for
Okay.
Let's try it now.
I'm doing this.
How you doing? We're with Allison.
We're gonna go the 14th for
Yeah.
Camera 2, and then the
It says
21st
I couldn't
for
get it twirl around.
3 through 5. And we're gonna coordinate middle school. Try to do it so that
Okay, Allison,
also.
yes,
so just when I,
They may be a
so
little
on the
later,
app,
but we wanted
right,
to
there's
say,
the 3 tabs
we're not
on the
gonna
left,
rush middle school.
multi-camera, screencast, and live stream.
Yeah,
Waiting.
that's okay.
We
can
yes.
So live
Hey,
stream,
Chris,
I got that. What is the purpose? I mean, I can figure out how to get it going later, but just what is the point of multi-camera and screencast? Like, what are they supposed to do?
That seems like, yeah.
So I'm going to talk about screencast. Essentially what you can do, you know how you would do a screencast video on your computer, so you're demonstrating something that you're actually doing on the computer?
Yeah.
With SWIVL, using screencast, we can do that in live mode and have the actual screencast recording of what's happening on our computer. So you know how you're seeing like 2 windows on our Zoom window right now? The recording would actually have you in live instruction mode. So you're recording yourself, but you also have a screencast recording of what's going on your computer. That's a really cool feature for pretty like high quality instructional videos.
Gotcha, okay. So I
And
can
it's very new, so I'll show you if we have time to get into it. But it's a pretty cool thing, and that's one that you're going to be using the desktop. So you know it's one of the different things that you can do. But you can do screencast recordings in the web, in your web account.
Gotcha.
All right.
And then
For the multi-camera, that would really be useful if you're doing collaborative, pretty like high-end recordings of things, and you want to have like one shot here, and then you want to see what's happening over here, and then you want to see what's happening over there. That's when you would do the multi-camera setup. I don't see that many times that I would think about setting that up in my classroom, but you know, it could be sort of a cool project that you might do if you had multiple cameras that you could connect. You'd have to have multiple like iOS devices or things with web cameras.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so let's launch into actually capturing video and the settings that we find in the app. And I recognize the time is going, so I want to make sure that we get through all the basics. So I'm just going to go through, this is what you would open on your web app. I just want to go through all the different settings that you can change and some that have been very recently updated. So of course your profile, pretty standard here. The only thing that I would really call your attention to is the account type. Just make sure that yours should say pro account type. And the other thing I would sort of mention about profile is if you are sharing devices, it's really important to check which profile you're signed in with. And I know I've made this mistake before where I've signed into SWIVL app using my work account and I have a personal account, and then I didn't recognize which one I was capturing or recording video under, and I lost my video. So that's the only reason I would say just take a little note that you're in the correct account. And if you are sharing devices, that you sign out of your account and the next person signs in. Okay, so as we get into settings, it'll be the second tab in when your app is open. So this, I'm just gonna start at the top, and I don't need to spend time on things that are unimportant, but this is the app version. The SWIVL base firmware is only important because if it's not 10.03.39 or above, everyone should be at least that, but if it's not, you need to update. And I don't know, I would like you to check right now, but we don't have a whole lot of time and you have this presentation, but just make sure that it is above that level of firmware, because if you connect your USB-A cable from the robot to your computer, it's gonna cause problems to the actual robot. So it needs to be an updated firmware. So that's the only reason I brought that up, so you can check it there.
There was an automatic update request when we turned on all the markers, right? All the markers.
That happens a lot of update.
Yeah.
And we know to update
And it
first.
says to
before-
update when you do that.
Yeah.
But when we get this presentation, we can all just go double check too. We'll double check on it.
You'll see, like I said, a lot of updates and pretty frequent updates, it seems, because they're just putting so many new things out and they're fixing bugs really quickly. So just always update. If it's pushing it, do it. But the firmware, because yours are new, they should be at the highest level, so you're good. But just double check. This is all new. This hybrid learning section is all new. It's like 2 weeks, updated here. So in your settings, you'll find your hybrid learning, and this just has to do with streamlining your configuration. So it starts with the base port configuration. Actually, that's what that looks like. And so it depends where you want your audio to come from. And I believe, and Beth, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe your audio should go to computer, because it's your computer and your panel that are going, your audio's coming out of your board, right?
That is correct, yep.
Okay, so I believe your audio should go to computer.
That's good to know to go
Yep.
in there, yeah.
Yeah, and see, mine looks a little different. I don't know, I'm having issues.
Yeah,
It's still not working.
It's not turning on.
It's not, no, it keeps saying configure, and she's got the death spiral.
Now
Oh,
it's
yeah,
the-
it's cool app itself.
Like when she tries to connect to it, it blinks and then it's solid red. So it's not
doing anything for her. You're talking about the swivel, the robot itself, or the
Yes,
iPad?
the robot.
The robot itself by the power button.
I would plug the robot in and charge it all the way.
That's what I would say too.
I would
Sounds
charge
like.
it.
They're not gonna charge immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, and then my settings look different. What do yours look like?
Mine looks like this,
Yep, mine looks like that. And see, I try to click on that,
and it doesn't do.
it doesn't do anything, so I'm not going on.
The settings have a different UI here,
Yeah.
but.
So does yours have this hybrid learning?
It does, but all it has is show live streaming apps, that's it. And then it's turned on, there's nothing else.
There's no
Okay.
base for it.
No.
Yes.
And you guys are all logged into the pro account?
Yeah, this is what,
Yeah.
Not until.
that's what
And there
we
was
have.
no update?
So it looks a little bit different.
Yeah, was there an update, do you know? Or I wonder if you could look for updates.
Yeah,
Because like I said, like my understanding is this whole hybrid learning section is brand new.
yeah, because we have hybrid learning, and it says show live streaming apps, and
And
that's all.
that's it. Mhm.
Yeah. So maybe we need to do an update.
It might be.
I'll try to.
We're gonna be able to do all those audio configurations anyway, so it's not like you're missing anything by not having it there. We'll just do it a different way.
This is ours. And that's what she said. Yeah, settings. Hybrid learning, we only have the one.
Yeah.
Like, she has four.
That's, yeah, we need to.
What is your show? Is yours-
Let me go check.
Go check yours.
That's just the swivel app itself, right?
Do you have the
And
iPad?
do you have the show live streaming toggled on?
Have that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if we're all.
Do I need to get mine?
Just get it just to see if we got the same problem with the settings.
What's the problem?
Our settings look different than hers.
Have you tasted tapioca?
Is that going to
Oh, so it's like you don't even feel it because the tapioca for me is like kind of weird because the balls are too big. This is kind of the same.
Oh, guys, I know what the problem is.
Oh, what?
The hybrid learning options only appear when it's connected to the robot.
No. This is information. No, don't worry.
Okay, so it needs to be connected to what?
To the robot, to the actual robot. So it needs to go through that mobile device configuration, and then when you open the app from there,
Oh, so the app needs to be connected to the actual robot.
yes, so then, see, it should show the hybrid learning, all the options.
Got it.
Do you mean by the actual cord needs to be in the robot and in the iPad?
Yes.
And it needs to be paired and all that good stuff.
In order for that to pop up?
Yes.
Mhm.
Were you all holding it like separate?
Yeah, and mine's not pairing right now, so that's why because mine was in the robot, but mine's not pairing. So
What was our
it's
where
okay.
it's supposed to be at?
We're in settings, but I think we
10.5.
figured it out.
My swivel app is only at 8.5.
No, it's under swivel base firmware.
Oh my God.
That's the one that needs to be 10.03.
Here. Yes, that's fine. That's what she just said.
Okay.
But it's not letting me look at my swivel base from.
Because you're not hooked up probably, right?
Yeah.
Oh, she just said, you missed it, that your iPad has to be connected to the robot.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, okay, sorry.
Oh, I'm a Mexican. Give me a call.
All right, we good to continue?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right, so we're going to connect the speakers, make sure that the live streaming is on, and that's what we're using. So the video quality, you can choose HD or SD. SD is generally sufficient. It takes less time to upload. It takes less storage space on the device. But if you want higher quality, then you're going to go with HD. Your SWIVL Teams has unlimited storage, but you can choose to auto delete recordings when they're uploaded into Teams. So if you want to use HD, you can just auto delete them from your device, from your actual device. Don't store them on there. Once it's uploaded to Teams, which is in the web, in the cloud, unlimited storage, you can remove it from the device so it doesn't take up space. But just remember, if you're using HD, you want them to delete once they're uploaded to your Teams.
Okay.
It will display a max recording time, and it just tells you how much time is available to record a session. And it's dependent on the internal storage of your device. So that's where it becomes important to make sure you're deleting things from your device once they're uploaded to Teams.
Cool.
The dim video while recording is useful if you have students in the class, in the actual physical classroom, because you might find that they're distracted by seeing themselves on the SWIVL recording, and they're like, going crazy just by seeing themselves on the actual recording. So dimming it is actually going to put your screen black, but it'll go into record mode. It's just not going to show you like your mirror image of yourself. Does that
Once
make
it's
sense?
plugged in, it will show that.
Yes, that's what we figured out. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, once it's paired, it should show, what she said. That's great. That's great to know about the dim video thing. That's good to know, you know?
Yeah, it is.
It's good when kids are in class, they will get excited.
Yeah.
We're just going through the settings, and you said dim video, like it dims it so that kids don't see themselves.
They're in the class.
Yeah, they're in the classroom.
Okay, so moving on, uploading. If we want the recordings, so you're recording yourself on SWIVL and you want the recordings to auto upload to Teams, which is our web account, then toggle that on. You can always toggle it off, come and toggle it off again. I'm going to show you how to pair the recordings with Zoom. So I don't know if you've gotten that far into your integration, but there is an option, because as it is with SWIVL, if you're recording a SWIVL session, it's going to auto upload. But if you're live streaming in Zoom, it's actually going to be a Zoom recording that you want to deal with, right? So there is a way to connect them or integrate your Zoom and SWIVL for recording purposes, as well as just that live stream purpose. Have you gotten that far, Beth, with the recording integration?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, so I forgot what your name is at the back, but you were asking about screencast and multi-camera and presentation slides. So those are all options that you can turn on to your action bar if you want quick access to them. If you're not using them, toggle them off, just so you don't see it when you open your capture screen on your application. So something like multi-camera, if you're not using it, turn it off. Screencast, I'm hoping I'll have time to talk about that, but essentially it gives you the option to live record yourself in SWIVL alongside a webcast or a screencast recording of what's happening on your actual computer's screen. So it's a cool, a cool option. The countdown timer, if you like to have a countdown timer, add presentation slides. If you're going to use slides in your actual presentation, you have that option to add slides, and you can actually have them running while you're doing a live presentation. And flip camera just allows you on your app screen to flip the camera just like you would with a regular camera app on your mobile device.
And that's when we get the insurance.
Yeah.
Like,
So, Allison, to add presentation slides. So, like, a bunch of us use slides, Google Slides, to do our presentations.
Yes,
So we need to make sure that that is on,
correct,
or else it
Correct.
won't work at all.
correct.
And then we can use our marker to go back and forth.
Yeah, so you have a couple options with the slides. You can add your slides after the fact. So you've already done a recording of your live lesson in your live session, and now I want to add slides. You can do that in the web account, in the web program. So that's option one. Option two is adding the presentation slides to your live lesson. And in that case, you would certainly want it toggled on here.
Okay.
And this is something, guys, I haven't been able to play with because it doesn't work on the Gen 2 robot. So I'm very curious how it works for you. And I know how it should work. So I hope it does work like that. But
So the students will be looking at you or at the slides?
both.
Oh,
Yes, so in that case, you would have both. You would have the live lesson and you would have the presentation slides.
oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Okay, so these are advanced settings. Yeah, I don't know if you want to get into advanced settings. The auto microphone selection just chooses the best microphone for you. Auto exposure, it will adjust the exposure automatically. The multi-marker bookmarking. Okay, so bookmarking is a function that you can use with your marker. And what it does is adds a little bookmark to the recording that's going to be uploaded. So if you want to call attention, this is really important. And it looks just like a bookmark you would see on a Kindle, you know, or anything. If you're reading an ebook, it will just add a bookmark to that section, that timestamp of the recording. So it's kind of a cool thing, and it's cool that you can do it with multiple markers, because you could ask the students, you know, if they're actually in the class, bookmark if there's something that you don't understand, or bookmark if something comes up that, I don't know. You could have it like bookmark when you learn about A, B, or C, or when you hear the word blah, blah, blah. So, you know, they're listening. It's a neat function. Okay, and then we get into the actual robot tab. So we're still in the device on the app, and we're looking at the tab bar. So I skipped the recording. We're going to come back to it. And I just want to talk a little bit about some of the settings for the actual robot. So tracking pan, you can manually enable or disable from here. So from the settings. Tracking tilt, this is when it's going to tilt vertically. So when it's tracking the marker up and down. And tilt correction, so this is kind of cool where it can track your face, and it will try and correct based on where your face is. So I'm curious if that works. It says experimental feature. So I don't know if that's working or not.
Can you put it into mask mode?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, that's funny. And then of course it'll tell you the battery life of the base of the robot. So the robot, we can also check out, so if you want to change the functions of the marker record button, you can open them there. We can change the marker center button action. So I don't think there are many choices. I think there's only 2. So I don't know, you might want to change that. And then it tells you the battery power of your secondary markers that have been paired. And the audio route should tell you where your audio is being routed from. So at this point where it's connected. And then, so there's the marker record, the marker center, and then the library tab will show you all of the recordings that you have on your app device. So on your device, on your app. So this is where you may want to, once they've been uploaded to Teams, you may want to delete them or get rid of them off the device. So you can see the indicators of where this recording lives. So it's in web storage, that's good. It's on the device, that's bad. Generally, you don't want to take up space on the device.
Where do you see web storage? How can you access that?
Like to actually access those videos?
Yeah.
That'll be on the team app. No, the team website. And I'll show you where you'll go if you haven't made a profile on that yet. It's pretty important that you have all of those things connected because that's where you're going to probably be sharing the videos from, and you can also edit the videos from there as well.
You can also, just from the main SWIVL app, it'll take you to the SWIVL cloud where all of your videos reside. And there's actually a share button on the video and you can share straight to Google Classroom as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're talking about, Allison?
Yeah, I was, yep.
It's right there in the main app.
But yeah, so this is like the cloud. The web thing is like the cloud.
It's the cloud, that's all it is. It's the
Right,
SWIVL
okay.
cloud, it sits out there, then you can pick it up and there's a share button. And so like, when you share to Facebook, share to Twitter, whatever, there's a
Right.
Google Classroom button as well. And you can attach it to your Google, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So if we are sharing devices, for example, that I don't have a SWIVL and I will be maybe using one of you guys, if that is recorded on my SWIVL account or is recorded on your?
You don't have to, do you have your own iPad? You need to
Yeah,
have your own
yeah,
iPad.
you
Well,
just bring
I
your
know,
own
I
iPad
know. I mean, I have these, but I cannot take it out, right?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah,
I can put it there.
yeah, take it out.
Take it out.
Take it out.
You have to take it out of the whole thing.
And then just have us this whole app, create your account.
Yeah.
Pop it on in.
Yeah, it'll be easier for you to change your iPad out than
Yeah,
change
yeah,
off of
perfect,
your
yeah, I prefer that.
account.
Oh.
The only thing you
You
don't
take
have
it
is.
out, man? Oh, it's right there, okay. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. I just might know that.
So this is, what you're seeing here is the cloud.swivel.com. So this is what I keep referring to as the web or the Teams page, and you can access it from your mobile device, but it's in the cloud. And everything that is recorded is synced, automatically uploaded to the cloud, which is this Teams, the web-based profile. Okay, so getting to actually recording now. So this is, we're going back to our record tab. So let's see if we can just really quickly go through this. And I'll ask you what you think they are. So you have them numbered there. So what is number 1? Anybody?
Yeah, how long you could video for?
The
Yes,
duration.
maximum recording time. So how could you maximize the maximum recording time? Anyone?
Delete videos off your iPad?
Delete videos and lower the resolution. So if you don't want to take up too much space, don't do HD, you could do SD. Good. Okay, so number 2, what can you access by tapping this little robot icon?
Which room?
That's the settings for the robot, right?
Not when you're actually in the app.
It tells you what's connected.
Yes. So that's where I kept talking about it. You're going to want to check which markers are connected. This is how you're going to access that. So before you start, You're going to want to just quickly get in the habit of clicking that robot icon button to check the connection status. And it should display for you which markers are connected and which ones are live and what the connection status is. Can you also, go ahead.
Are you talking about button number 2 up there?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Krista, it works now.
Okay,
Did you charge it?
Yeah, I'm just gonna charge it.
It must have been, yeah.
because you had a red light that whole time.
You
Yeah.
probably did. Worst case, good, I'm glad.
Yay.
Yay! In this number 2 as well, you should be able to adjust the marker sensitivity, the audio sensitivity. So I wasn't able to see that. I don't know if you guys can see it on your devices when you open it.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Where is it?
Okay.
In the robot button. You
Oh,
can
up top,
adjust the
still on 2.
sensitivity. Yeah. Allison, I'm sorry, I just step out for a second, and I know you were talking about if you hold the marker button down left and right, it'll swivel the camera around, right? So you
Yes.
can follow. What button do you push? Can you zoom? Can you zoom in? Like if I'm not zoom the teleconference, but like if I'm sitting there and I want the camera to get closer to me, is there a button I can do that with? Magnify. Yeah, magnify. That's a good way to describe it.
That's a great question. And there should be, but I can't remember anything I've seen that tells me like zoom in or zoom out.
Yeah, I don't even know if you can.
You should be able to though. I can't.
One would think, right? But I mean, the swivel really only swivels it around directionally. It doesn't have.
It's not controlling the actual camera per se.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe not. I haven't come across anything that tells me zoom in or zoom out.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is because, so say I put my swivel in the middle of my classroom and I want to make it go all the way around, right? But what if I want to have something on the board and I'm kind of far away from the board? The only way I'm going to do that is to pick my tripod up and move it closer to the board.
Mm-hmm.
That seems,
Yeah,
Well,
it might,
yeah, maybe when you did this on your.
maybe on the same iPad, yeah.
you just go like, you know that? Okay, maybe, yeah, maybe you're right, yeah.
That could be where multi-camera maybe comes in.
Same iPad.
Let me try to see if it works here, okay? Do we get bigger all of a sudden? Nope, but you see my fingers. Hold
I
on.
see your fingers.
Nope.
But what about if you approach it like when you are taking a picture with the volume thing? There is the zoom on the actual camera.
I don't know.
Give it a
I
shot.
don't think so.
I had to ask, thank you.
Well, it's a really good question. I don't think, but you know, they do recommend that when you're setting up the swivel, you set it up quite close to yourself, and I guess that's why.
Probably why, yeah.
Okay, so multi-camera we spoke about, screencast we spoke about, live stream, this is where you're going to start your Zoom connection from. And switch cameras if you have enabled the flip camera, so it'll do it from the other side. If you've enabled, you should see the add slides option. And the record button is 8 and 9 because you tap the record button to record. You can also tap it to stop the recording.
Got it.
I'm
And
sorry,
then the X button will go back to settings.
Bye.
Hi. Okay, so are we still looking at a hard stop at 5:45?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
much.
So let me think. Uploading video.
I gotta go really quick for about 25 minutes. So I should post my stuff down.
Okay, so you've got it configured with your Zoom and the computer and the IFP, right?
Close all your stuff.
Hey, Allison, I gotta step out, but these guys are gonna close the show today, okay?
Okay, no
Thank
problem.
you. Thanks for all your help.
No problem.
I'll be right back. You okay? Yes, yes. Okay.
Careful.
So I'm just trying to think of like the most bang for your buck in the last like 7 minutes.
Sorry.
That's what we need, right?
Hold on.
We need to get that.
Is she frozen? No, she's not frozen.
We lost the audio for a second.
Are you guys with me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry about that, guys.
Oh,
Okay, now I'm done.
of course, when I did the weird voice, you could hear. Okay. All right, folks. So I just want to make sure that you're getting your like top priority urgent questions answered. And I still have like, I think 30 more slides prepared. So I'm not going to go through everything. So I just want to make sure I'm covering what is pertinent and most important to you. So it sounds like you have your Zoom configuration all set up and everyone's been able to run that no problem. Is that right? Okay. So this just goes through the steps of setting up your Zoom with SWIVL. Now, okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Teams platform, if that seems like a good idea for everyone. Yes? Okay. So within our Teams platform, you can actually integrate with Zoom directly from that platform. So this is your web cloud Teams platform. The reason we want to integrate on this level is so that all the recordings from Zoom, so we record all of our sessions in Zoom, rather than those recordings just living in our Zoom account under recordings, they'll actually upload directly to our Teams account. Do you know if you have this configured?
Is that going to affect the memory though?
No, because it's uploading to your cloud, to the Teams web server.
Alright.
And where do we find this? This is in our profile?
This should be in your settings under your profile.
Yeah, we're part of something.
Eugene.
Eugene, right? So you're part of a team, a pro account. So he might have to do this.
Story of our life?
Story of my life.
No, but is this on the iPad or is this online on the webpage?
This should be on the web page.
Okay.
But you might need permission
It's
from
Krista, it's under your chair.
And it doesn't show up on mine because I don't have the pro team account. But you should be able to see it under settings here. Oh, there it is. It does show up on mine. Connect.
Alison, I have another question.
Sure.
So I'm going to use probably a lot of different swivels of robots. Is that possible? Like for me to configure like different ones?
Of course. So it doesn't actually matter which robot you're on. All that matters is your profile, that you're signing into the correct account.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and then as long as you're using your accounts everywhere you go, it should be totally fine.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and I think you should, because you're using your iPad the whole time.
Yeah,
right, with your
exactly,
account on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, and so the reason we do this again is just those recordings. We don't want to go looking through Zoom recordings to find our recordings and upload them to Google Classroom. That way, we want them all to live in one place, ideally. So you're going to authorize, and then when you, these are your Zoom settings. So when you start your meeting in Zoom, you're going to want to make sure that you turn on cloud recording.
Okay. But until we start the meeting, or can we do that prior to it?
Yeah, prior to the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when you record, this is your Zoom recording. You record to the cloud. And then it should upload. If you've done that integration in your web account, it should upload directly to your library
That's cool.
in SWIVL Teams.
So it says auto upload, is that what we're talking about?
That's what you're talking about.
So that one we can change on our own.
You should be able to, yeah.
What was the one you said we may not be able to do it on our own?
Well, I just didn't know if like that connection, you wouldn't be able to. Sometimes they're pretty locked down, but.
No, it says auto upload is automatically upload videos to your SWIVL account?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Authorized.
we have power over that.
Where's that?
Perfect.
This, under settings, go and sweet. Yeah, there.
This account is on the web page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What is your firmware at?
That web page, by the way, is cloud.swivel.com.
You're just talking already.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, and then make sure that you have your Zoom meetings recordings going to the cloud, and then it should work.
Cool.
And that is awesome.
Because it saves on storage space and such.
Then you won't have to go through this whole process of uploading videos from Zoom. You'll just be able to work with them directly all from the same account.
Yeah, and once it's on the web page, then you can put it on Google Classroom.
Easy peasy. Just by sharing or getting the web link.
Perfect.
So I'll just show you that real quick. So here, when you see your videos, you can share, and then, yeah, you can just get a link and add it to your Google Classroom, or, you know, I think Beth was saying she had even a better integration of Google Classroom with SWIVL, so that would be great.
Cool.
So just a couple other things in the Teams app. You can do quite a bit in there, and you're all connected, so you can actually share videos with each other. So if Beth does a video recording of a great lesson and she wants to share it with all the 7th graders, she can share via that Teams application. Also, by the way, if you want to edit your project, so if you've done a 60-minute recording and you know your students are not going to listen to 60 minutes and you want to condense it into a 6-minute recording, we can trim it and edit it really simple, basic, like trim from end to end in our Teams application. So it's a nice, like really basic video editor.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm confused. There's your profile, there's the Teams app. How do you find your Teams app?
Right, so we're in cloud.swivel.com.
On the web?
Yes.
On the web.
Yeah, so you can get there, Krista, by going to your profile and then clicking the web button.
Right, on your app, your SWIVL app on the device, you'll also see something that says open in web application or open in web something, and you can press that and it will take you here as well.
Cool.
But this is where everything's uploading automatically. This is, you know, the library, the housing for all of our recordings that you're doing on the SWIVL app. And this is also where we can play around with adding slides behind our presentations or behind our videos or beside our videos. So you can play around with that. So you can see here is a video I did, and I
In
just
this
added a
lesson,
slide
you'll
deck.
learn about Google Docs.
So there's the
Docs
video
is an
and the
online
slides
word
are going
processing tool that offers real-time.
Bye.
Bye, have a good flight.
I hope so. Travel safely.
All right, how many do we have left?
4, 5, 5.
Bye.
Susan,
Five. 5 outstanding teachers on a Friday afternoon doing professional development. I'm proud of you
You see the
guys.
video for me? No, I was explaining something. What?
So I have like very short little clip videos in the presentation that you can come back and watch on how to edit a project in Teams. I'm calling Teams, that's the cloud.swivel. We don't need to watch that. You can also comment and collaborate with your colleagues really easily. This is the bookmarking I spoke about really briefly.
Okay.
And screencasting. So this is where you get a little bit more complex in terms of kind of configuration. But on a very basic level, let me just show you again this. So on a very basic level, all of the recordings I do in SWIVL are uploaded here to my web Teams, right? So if I go to add a new project, you'll notice I have the option to upload existing videos, so I can use other videos. I can upload slides. This is where I can kind of play around with some of the view. But I can also record a video. So this is where I could actually use this tool to do a really good screencast recording. And I don't know if you guys are doing that with Screencastify, or I know some of your teachers are using MimioView. You can do really nice instructional videos with MimioView. But this is a really easy way to record, screen capture what's on your screen. So if you're doing something on your screen, or you want to do a demo video for students and parents on how to access something, so maybe they're getting really confused with how to navigate around Google Classroom, or they don't know how to return assignments, or you could do really basic screen capture on your screen, on your computer, that you're showing them how to do something on the computer. So it can be a really great tool. And then you can get a little more complex with your screencast video, and then have yourself live video next to it. So you can get pretty advanced with what you can do in SWIVL with the different platforms and environments and applications.
Okay.
So you're welcome. So I'm gonna stop that. And then, so this takes you through how to set up that screencast. And then the final one was just, you know, if you had any questions about integrations, how are you using SWIVL with your Google Classroom? But it sounds like a few of you have a really great handle on that, so you don't need me to talk about it really. So yeah, if you have any other questions, is there anything that I didn't cover or you don't see in the slide deck that you're gonna have access to after?
Yeah, I think we're good.
If we have questions, can we email you?
Of course, of course. And we have, guys, we have 25 support sessions for all of St. Pat's teachers. So I'm gonna send Barbara a scheduling app so she can go in, or you can go in and schedule in small groups. Just, I want a half-an-hour session on how to do this screencasting, or how to set up this, or as you get more into it, you have questions. You can just set up a time and we can be really focused on what you need to know.
Yeah, that'll be helpful, I think, as we start using it and teaching with it. Then
Exactly.
yeah,
The more we use it, the more questions we'll have.
probably.
For sure, for sure. And then there's always like, you know, why isn't this working? Why is this flashing red? Why is this, you know, I can't get this to work. These are all links to pretty common troubleshooting issues. And I don't know if Beth's still in the room, but this is that inventory management document and questionnaire. So that'll be there for her.
All right,
All right.
thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
All right. You guys don't want to hang out a little longer? I'm just kidding. Hey, have a wonderful weekend. You guys deserve it. Take a great rest. You have a long weekend. So just, you're all doing awesome. Keep it up, okay?
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Could you share the slides?
Hey, can you share it?
Yeah.
Yes, I will. I'll send it to Beth and she can share it out, okay?
Sounds
Please,
good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.